Excused. Jordan Spacek.
Here.
Okay.
Okay. Items for discussion and possible action, public comment and communications. Anybody have anything? Joe?
Just a few communications from residents of Highway 70, but I see we have that on the agenda, so we'll wait till that, so.
I have one. I had somebody ask about snow fences, why we don't put them up. I said cost and labor, but I said, well, I'll ask. See what can.
Yeah, it does have a lot to do with cost and labor, and I don't know, nobody's really been utilizing it very much in the, it was used a lot in the past, but
Yeah, they did point out a couple spots, and one happens to be by my road there in Warner, where it blows across all the time. And his comment to me was, well, doesn't it cost plenty to run down and salt that all the time and plow that stretch? And he said there was another spot on 86 somewhere that does the same thing. I just bring it up.
yeah, we'd have a lot of time and labor just running around the entire county putting up snow fence everywhere, so.
And then just getting the permission from the landowner, because in order to be effective, it's gotta be back away, so that's the other problem sometimes.
Paula?
She's wanted to didn't communicate.
Yes.
You got anything?
I was going to make a comment about the snow fences though, because I believe weren't farmers concerned about having them on their land, and if there were whatever they tied them with, sometimes they would get and fall in, then the cattle would eat them or something like that. So I didn't know if that was.
Yeah.
So thanks for thinking of me.
Yep, no problem. Okay, nothing else. We'll move on. Minutes from the February 4th meeting. What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second that motion.
Got a motion by Doug and a second by Joe. Any other comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Bids. Let's start out with the gravel crushing.
I guess we forgot to put pulverizing on there, so we'll just move that in wherever.
Yep.
Make sure you use.
Oh, is it?
If I may, while he's opening those envelopes, or she is, did we ever resolve our issue from last year yet? Still in process?
I don't know, do you want to pre-open them kind of? So this is Haas Sons Incorporated. He's got on here 2 pits listed, the Shriner pit, 1.25 inch at $6.18. Total of $125,917.50. And 3/4 inch dents the Whitlow pit at $6.18. He's got a wrong number on there. It's supposed to be 12,000. He's got 1,200, but $77,416. Whitlow pit.
That's tons, Roger.
What's that?
Tons. Unit of measure is tons.
Tons, yeah. But like I said, he's got the quantity wrong on the 3/4 inch. Yeah, let's see, look at that number. Turn on. I don't know. This one has $0 on it. I don't exactly know Am I missing something? Or it's just a unit price of $350?
Oh, 2026 crushing costs at Price County pits for any base $350.
Okay, $350 a ton. Any amount crushed apparently is what it is, but they just have a unit price. This is James Peterson's and Sons. This would also be out of our pit, at the Mintal pit. $4.35 a ton. For 1 1/4, $4.89 a ton for the 3/4. A total proposal price of $1,311.25.
Hey, Roger, who was the second bid from?
James Peterson's and Sons.
The one after Haas? That was the.
Yeah,
three-
so
three-
Haas had two bids, one out of their location, and the $350 a ton was out of our pit.
Okay, thank you.
You open this one, I don't know, you should have. So this bid came from Granberg. So with discussion, I sent out a email yesterday on how to proceed on this. And it was not to accept it because it was a non-responsible bidder, correct?
Yeah, so you can still, I would open it, you can accept it. It's just when considering the bid, because we're still in the midst of settling last year's issue we were having in their contract, they would not be considered a responsible bidder at this time.
So we're accepting the bid, but not considering it? How is that?
You open all bids. It's not accepting anything. You're just opening them and putting them on the sheet. Our role is to review all the bids and choose the lowest responsible bidder. If they happen to be the lowest, you guys would have to discuss and say, hey, we're still in litigation, or it's not litigation. We're still in negotiation on our last contract, or dispute would be a better word. We're disputing our last contract. So then they would not be considered the lowest responsible bidder because of the current situation or past history you can look at.
So this proposal would be out of the Ed Haney pit, which is on County Highway D. The 1 1/4 at $5.40 a ton, and then the 3/4 inch at $5.45 a ton. Total price of $175,425. And that's all we have for gravel crushing.
And this is for the D and H project.
Correct.
All this crushing, correct. And we will do the hauling?
Yes.
Or- Okay, yep.
You said move a 0 over, I think, right? I'll take the pulverizing stuff now, I guess.
That's all the gravel then? This is-
Correct.
This is on to
Pulverizing.
Pulverizing.
This would be George Lepke, Lepke Trucking and Excavating. H, County Highway H. Yep, so 6.77 miles, 5,000 a linear mile. On County Highway H, County Highway D is 4,500 a linear mile at 10.12 miles.
And D is how many? 10 miles?
10.12 miles. This is WK. WK County Highway H, $3,969 a linear mile. County Highway D is the same price, $3,969 a linear mile. Northeast Asphalt. County Highway H, 4,270 a linear mile. County Highway D, $4,310 a linear mile.
Roger, while you're opening the next one, do you have to pick, do all their bids depend on like picking both projects or,
Correct.
okay, so you couldn't pick one from one company or H from one company and D from another?
No, because
Just-
they have mobilization considered in.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that for everybody. So it's when they have two different prices that may look good on one, but you have to add them out.
This is Haas and Sons, County Highway H, $4,550 a linear mile. County Highway D is $4,410 a linear mile. This is Karchner Brothers. We have County Highway H at $4,372 a linear mile. County Highway D is at the same price.
4,372.
Correct. This is A1 Excavating. County Highway H, $4,496 a linear mile. County Highway D is the same price, $4,496. So even with the difference in prices, WK would have been the lowest bidder on that.
Which company did we have last year?
WK.
WK did his stuff last year.
They did good work. So no asphalt bids. So I did separate it out on the agenda, because they are both, a CHI project, so, we're gonna need a motion and approval for accepting the bids. This is the only one. So also, Jules, if you could record that we only have one bidder in the meeting minutes, please.
For the asphalt.
Yes. And this is American Asphalt. So on County Highway H, the 2 inches of 3LT is at $60.96 a ton. The 1.5 inches of 4LT is at $65.30 a ton. The shape, 6.77 miles, is $50,830. Mobilization and traffic control is $5,900. County Highway D is 2 inches of the 3LT at $59.04 a ton. And then the 1.5 inches of 4LT is at $63.71 a ton. Shaping is a lump sum of $73,700. And mobilization and traffic control is $5,900.
What did you say the shaping was for H?
$50,830.
Do we have an estimated tonnage on those or no?
So the estimated tonnage on County Highway H for the 2 inch is 9,810 ton. And the estimated tonnage of the 4LT 1.5 inches surface coat is 7,900 ton. And County Highway D, the estimated 2 inch 3LT tonnage is 14,700 ton. And the 1.5 inch 4LT top coat is 11,150 ton.
Price per ton, how's that compare from last year?
It's a little less, ain't it?
Yeah.
I'd have to dig a long ways back in my drawer.
You don't remember that off the top of your head?
No, I can tell you that 2 years ago on the W project and the D project, there was only about $40,000 difference between American and Pitlick at that time, but I don't remember exactly last year. No.
Rod, do you need a motion on that one?
So, yes, I needed a motion to accept American Asphalt's bid on both projects.
I would make a motion that we accept American Asphalt bid as the only bidder on both CHI projects.
And second that.
Okay, I got a motion to accept the bid for asphalt from American from Joe and a second from Paula. Any other discussion?
I got a question if I may. Is there anything built in for price increases? We're at war and price of oil is going up right now.
Once you sign the contract, we're locked in.
You're locked in?
Discussion. I mean, if it went way out of the ballpark, I mean, I'm sure there'd be talk between the big bosses, like what, but yeah, normally once you're locked in the price per ton, it is what it is.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Sign it quick.
Thank you.
Thanks, Preston.
I'll be in touch.
Do you need anything for the gravel?
No, we
No,
don't
I
need
mean-
anything for the gravel. So on these two projects, I just got asphalt only because of the mileage and getting it done. I didn't need any extra.
And just looking at the preliminary numbers, it looks like Peterson for gravel and WK for the pulverizing.
I believe Haas is at 350 a ton for everything.
Oh, yeah,
closed.
yeah, sure.
So
Out
that
of
was
our
my
pit, yeah.
question, is that material good enough out of our pit to have them come in and crush for us?
Yes, that's what we used on County Highway W. We use in all various locations, so the material's good.
So we'll just need to do some scalping on the field. We'll do that, or they'll take care of that. to
We
make
do
it-
that,
yeah,
which we stripped last year, so there should be plenty of room to,
Sure. Big enough face.
yep.
And as far as hauling distance, that's not gonna affect any.
No, the only thing I did consider is reaching out to Ed himself and getting a price from his material, what he was gonna want, and if Haas would consider crushing in that location for the same price, it would reduce trucking significantly. But I know Haas did reach out to Ed Haney, so there must not been an agreement made. But as far as we do need material in the pit, because Joe does have some forestry work that he does
Sure.
need material for.
Yep.
So we would have extra material made at that price.
Yeah. Well, and that's a pretty good price for our pit,
Yeah.
so. Okay, we'll move on. Number 4, State Highway 13 and State 111 intersection light.
So in reaching out to the DOT, they will not put up a light there at the intersection. If we wanted a light there, we would have to pay for it. I did get a cost estimate from Xcel Energy to put a pole at that intersection, which it'd be $1,900 a pole. They would either put it in the northwest intersection or the southeast intersection. The monthly cost would be roughly around $25 a month for the light to have it on there. I guess I brought it forward to the committee to see what their consideration was on it.
Anybody got anything?
When you say it's 1,900 for a pole, is that everything installed?
Yeah, that's installing the pole, putting the light on it, hooking it up, and then we would be paying the $25 monthly. Now we could put that on our facilities. We could kind of recoup it back from the state as fire storage and things like that. But
If the state doesn't want to put it up themselves, why would they let someone else put one up?
Because they don't want to pay for it, but they'll let somebody else pay for it.
right,
So
That's what it boils down to. I'm trying to be blunt.
So just to understand it, we're talking about just a light pole with an illuminating light, not a flashing beacon, not the traffic lights, just a light pole with an illuminating light.
right, correct. So the stance was, of course, originally the state wasn't going to pay for a flashing red light on Little Chicago, but so when they found out the light I was going to install, they didn't like that. So then they ended up paying for it. But as far as a street light there at the intersection, that was a no-go.
And they did flashing red light on both sides.
The run was on 11 already. They put up one on North Chicago now, yeah.
So there's
Mm-hmm. You can see it at night. It's a stop sign.
Yeah.
You can, I mean,
I
sure.
guess.
Yeah.
I'd have to ask, what do we think we're gaining by having the street light there? If we have flashing yellow or flashing red lights approaching and we have stop signs there, I guess I don't understand. I guess I'm not seeing what the advantage would be to having a street light there. And on top of that, there's a couple residents in that area. Is there gonna be an issue there with having a light there, that we're creating something else?
Well, and 3 Mile has a yard light and Esther Homes have a yard light, you know, I mean, the intersection's somewhat, the area is somewhat lit already, you know, and are we gonna go around and put up one at every single one? I don't think so. So I think we'll just leave it be. That's my 2 cents on it.
I would agree with Jordan on that.
I agree with that also, as, you know, as long as now we have the red flashing, I
Yeah.
think that's sufficient.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. I will leave that one last then. State Highway 70.
So I don't know if anybody who's all traveled on Highway 70, but it's deteriorating.
I even got a phone call about this, so it must be really bad.
It's bad. Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah, so it's deteriorating super fast, and it's growing longer every day and worse every day. So we have our guys have been out there since we had a break in the weather the last, since Monday we started out there sweeping and patching. They're getting about a mile a day, or you know, they're not gaining on it. So when I reached out to the Rhinelander DOT, our maintenance engineer, of course they said they don't have any money to do anything with it, so they're going to seek out an LFA for $150,000 to just do the wheel tracks, basically mill an inch and a half in the wheel tracks and drag a rut sled through it. I said that really doesn't address motorcycle traffic in the center, because the center's just going to bust apart, which it is. So I got, which Sawyer County's in the same shape. So I reached out to John Pindle. He's a highway commissioner over there. And so we are both going to send out a maintenance request, which goes to central office in Madison, saying, basically it says there's a bad issue here. It needs to be addressed.
Oh, it's a hazard.
Yeah. I also reached out to Representatives Summerfield and Jesse James's office, so they are involved. John Pindle and Sawyer County now, they are Chance Green and trying to think of the no, it's him now. Quinn.
Romaine, Quinn,
Romaine.
yeah.
So now there's 4 politicians involved in this to help hopefully push this somewhere in a direction where we can get it fixed, because ultimately it should be milled and overlaid.
It's
At
about
minimum.
10 miles between us and Sawyer.
Oh, I don't know, Vance. How many miles do you think in total? Did you drive much in Sawyer County? How bad it is over there?
I didn't go too far. It's worse in Sawyer County, but we started off with about 5.25 miles. Right now it's starting to fall apart we got another half mile by Fife Field in the eastbound lane that's happening too. So, and it's spreading by 6 Mile boat landing there.
So they're not as far as in the near future of any road work in there scheduled with the DOT. Nothing scheduled till 2030, and with talking potentially getting it moved up to 2028, maybe 2029 is about
It'll be
the
gravel
soonest.
before then,
Correct.
at the rate it's going.
Yeah.
It's
So even
really
if we
bad.
did our you know, our little puller rut sled out there, it's still not going to really address the issue. So
It goes all the way to Loretta Draper
Yeah.
in Sawyer County.
It's pretty terrible.
And I've gotten a lot of calls, and what I'm telling people is basically that Price County, while they maintain it, don't control the purse strings. So the state is the one that's gonna make the final decision on what we're gonna get for money to
That's a
fix
tough
it.
pill to swallow for a lot of people when you tell them that.
Well, I understand
Yeah,
that, but
yeah.
then I also tell them, so the state dealing with them enough times is if there's not the squeaky wheel, it
Mhm.
doesn't get addressed sometimes. So, but I'm telling them is you can email Roger or the highway department through our issue or road condition on the website. I said, but understand it's not, there's nothing they can do about it at this point, but also email the state maintenance coordinators and the state supervisors. Be respectful, explain what it is. Don't, just
Yeah.
tell them the problem. And the more people that do that, the more priority is going to get placed on getting that moved up. Because I believe I saw an email from Nick to one of the complainants, or one of the residents, that Nick Boss had told him that it's in the program for 30/30. And that he's gonna try to get it moved, or they're gonna work with their Northwest representatives to try to get it moved up in the program. And I've got the email if you want it, Roger, so because he's sharing it with me as he's getting things. But I wanted everybody to know that they've made aware of how the process works, and they know that it's not the county that has the purse strings here. So that's where my interaction has
And
been.
besides calling the state, they should call all those legislators too.
Correct. Yep.
Yep.
Does the state actually come out and look at it ever, or do they just go by what you send them?
Kevin Garrigan and Diane did come out and drive it, but you know, ultimately they're maintenance coordinators. So they only have so much money to work with in our region, and which they said, which the winter that we've had, the DOT is very short on funds, you know, so ultimately it needs to be taken care of down in Madison and not in the Rhinelander office.
To dig into that surplus.
Yeah, because in the last commissioners meeting I had, you know, there was the big ticket items where some counties were supposed to be getting salt sheds and a few other things, and they put a hold on it. So I'm doing what I can, but
No, we appreciate that. And like I said, it's not the greatest.
no. But otherwise,
Although I did hear that County N isn't as bad as what people think, because I had a constituent drive County M in Rusk County, and they're like, "Oh, that's way worse than even County N." And so I was like, "Oh, hey, we're doing good with County N then." Yeah.
Yeah.
The roads have dipped this week. It's incredible where all the dips
Yeah.
are showing up this
Yeah.
week.
Okay, so that's more of an information thing. Number 6, billing for requested assistance.
Yep.
Assume
So
that's in correlation.
yeah, so this kind of stemmed from a recent weekend call out, which we got to help assist, basically sand the roadway during firefighting. So at the last commissioners meeting, I asked the question, you know, how do counties generally handle this? And they said basically 2 different ways. Either they bill the township or the municipality that they're working in and have them send the bill to the landowner, or they bill the landowner directly. The problem with billing the landowner directly is if they don't pay the bill, then you have to go down and basically get it taken off their income tax, right? Kind of, it's a process. So when I was talking with Sarah, I guess we should probably come up with a policy on how you want to handle issues like this when they come forward. It's not that we deal with this a lot, but it did cause a little bit of an upset when we tried to bill for it, because it was on a Saturday. The guys went out twice, so there was overtime, there's call-in pay, it was a lot of cost for the highway department to eat. And this individual thought that we should just eat it, which I didn't feel was right neither, but.
I was gonna say, so I got a call on this also right after Roger got the call, and so we were all kind of working on this together. And what I was telling this individual from the department we were working with was, the goal shouldn't be to penalize the municipality. So what they were afraid of is we were going to send a bill and the municipality would be on the hook for the bill if the landowner or the insurance didn't pay. So when I was talking to this individual, I said, no, that's not the goal. The goal would be to make the insurance pay, or the landowner. Usually the landowner would have the insurance, which would reimburse them for something like this. You have a fire, you're getting your house burnt down, you know, your some insurance is going to cover this whole situation. So what I was telling the individual I was on the phone is, we need to bill so that it doesn't penalize everybody else with this $2,000 cost on a Saturday to have these people doing it. If the landowner or the insurance fails to pay, we would then write it off and say, cool, this is just cost of doing business. We have to do it. But until then, we shouldn't be just writing it off. Our goal should be to get as much as you can from these insurance companies to offset so that the whole county is not paying for this incident at a individual's house, whether it's a car accident, that had a fire, or a house that had a fire and you're down there sanding, salting. This one was a little unique because we got called out, but they actually have their own trucks and sand salt trucks that they could have utilized, but it was on a county road in the municipality. So they were like, well, we don't want to touch your roads. We're, talking to Roger, it's an emergency situation. If you guys have your own crew to go out there and sand salt and keep the roadway safe, that's not the issue. But I also think that municipality needs to be going after these insurance companies to keep the costs lower. So that's kind of the conversation I ended up having with these municipalities. I know it went straight to the ambulance and firefighters association in Price County, and there was a big to do. But I think I'm on the same page with Roger. It's like, what procedure do you guys want to have so that we're just consistent? If we get called out, the firefighter or the group gets the bill should go to the insurance company. If they don't get paid within 6 months, we write it off. Or it can be as simple as that, but just something that we don't want to penalize the firefighter, because that's what the fire association was like. Whoa, we don't have $2,000 if we don't get paid for this. That's out of our pocket. And that's not the intent. We don't want to put a burden on the fire association or the ambulance.
I guess my question is, why would we involve the township? Why wouldn't it go direct to that homeowner then? Why are we involving the township at all, the municipality in this?
So usually when there's a fire, don't they usually bill the township and then the township bills?
By
the
state law, that has to happen that way. But that's why I'm wondering on this road thing.
So when I discussion with other counties, they would do it that way. So that way they would still get the bill for it. The landowner would get the bill. And if the landowner either whether or not wanted to take the steps to try and recover the money from the insurance company, they were on the hook for it. And then then the township, if he didn't pay, the township would put it on their taxes.
Yeah, so they have the ability to put it on a tax bill if it's unpaid.
So
And the county
don't.
doesn't?
We don't have that.
Only the township does?
The only one we can do is if you build like a dam or something around a lake association, you can do a special for a lake association, but you can't do a special for an individual situation. So same with, like you see it in the cities a lot, mowing and plowing. Like we can't put a special if we go out and clean up a property.
So my understanding, and no, this is tough because this was technically the city limits.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the tricky part is. So the city limits, you're paying for fire protection on your tax bill, your water bill every month,
Yeah.
right? No? I don't know.
It's a deep subject.
Yeah.
That-
Well, yeah.
But also that same entity we're talking about charges $750 an hour to every other township other than the city every time that fire truck leaves the hall.
Yeah.
So they're getting compensated when they go out. And again, we talked about this a number of years ago.
Yes.
And again,
Didn't this
isn't-
happen down on?
and again, this is not, in my opinion, or my
Yeah.
thought is not to put a burden financially on the services that protect us, whether it's EMS, whether it's fire, whatever it is. It's a matter of trying to gain as much back from the incident as we can without going after those funds. So like Nick said, getting the insurance or the landowner to pay for the situation that caused the service. Now, getting to that point, it's an extra step to send out the bill. So there's where the sticker is that I'm seeing all the time is, okay, we don't care, yeah, charge the landowner, charge the insurance company, but we don't want to take the time to send the bill. So here's my question. We can't bill insurance, or we can't assess taxes, but as a county, can the department bill the individual and the insurance company? And if they don't pay it, then we can say, okay, we tried. That way we're not going through them. Otherwise, if we can't do that, then I think we still go through the municipality where the fire was at, ask them to bill them. If they don't gain anything on it, then we write it off as an expense as a service. That's my thought process. I don't want to have to go after the budgets because the budgets of the fire department and the EMS is our budgets anyway. It's the towns, it's the cities.
So,
So
so because of where this fell, they don't bill themselves.
Right. This one would be
So,
unique.
so had it been another 200 yards down the road in the town of Worcester, this would have just been part of the fire call bill, correct?
No.
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 We haven't been, yes, we would bill, but it's.
Well, we
diff-
would have billed
the
we would
fire
have billed the
department would've-
fire
yeah.
department, and then the fire department would have billed the homeowner.
Or they would
or
have just ate it
insurance.
because they're charging what, like a $750 an hour plus 500 after 2 hours or something.
yeah,
To-
don't quote me
yeah,
on the
I-
numbers.
There's something in that range.
Sure.
What,
But
what I'm thinking is the easiest, and this is where the fire association was struggling, or when I talked to the local fire department, they don't have staff that can do a lot of time. I think we talked about this
Yes.
too for the South, right? So to me, the easiest would be as soon as it happens, Sarah produces the bill, it gets to the fire association before, or whichever fire department, before the fire department even bills the municipality or the homeowner, because that's when, that way it's all grouped in the insurance claim. Because if you start getting separate bills, I mean, anybody who's lost anything and had a car accident, anything, like to try to get your insurance to pay things and how it works, it's, if you can just give them one bill, which it's much easier. And so that's where I was confused at what's the, how is it that big of a burden to the fire association? And again, I don't know how the fire departments run where, cool, this is the bill, tack it on to when you do the Worcester bill or the Elk bill or whatever it is, so that they can tack it on to the homeowner right away so that the homeowner can get that in insurance and pay it all at once, rather than separate bills coming in. And why is this one on it? And insurance might question that differently. Like, whoa, insurance is covering firefighters, not the highway, which caused this situation. But to me, if you could get it to one bill, and then if the fire department doesn't get that for some reason, the insurance won't pay that portion, but they'll only pay the $750 per hour, we'll have to write it off. Because the goal is not to burden the fire department. They're already strapped for their budget. I get that, but and it's a rarity. This one was really unique because there's no billing done in this municipality, because that's how they do it, is they justify it based on other fees, is what they're saying. Is in the city limits, they don't pay that $750 and the $500, so there's not an additional bill that goes out to the homeowner, which doesn't then get paid by the insurance because you live in the city limits.
Good luck, Roger.
By publicly stating that you're gonna write it off, isn't that incentivizing everybody to not pay right from the get-go? I would say you should consider writing it off, but do it on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think we just say, like, if you didn't pay it in 6 months, then the fire department could keep the money for all we know. Like, I think it's one of those where they have to request and show us that, look, it got denied, before a guaranteed dismissal right off.
I guess I'm not understanding why they didn't call their own crew department. I guess it is
Because because it was on a county road, so they didn't feel that they thought they should call us because it was our section of highway. But going back, Jordan, you guys are the policy making body, so I prefer that you make this policy.
You don't live in the county though.
And that was
Ah,
when we talked to, when I say right, it was trying to take away the fear of that fire department, that we're going to get strapped with all these bills all of a sudden. It's like, no, that's not the goal. The problem is when we start these conversations, it immediately goes to the extreme. Well, we're going to charge you every time we call the sheriff department calls the fire truck for not an ambulance, but a traffic control. We're going to send you a bill. No, that's not what this intent is. There's a fire with insurance. Like this is a bigger,
Yeah, this,
thing.
to me, this needs to be a bill that's submitted to the person's insurance
First.
first, and then let them.
right, but we don't have the authority to
Yeah,
submit
I
that,
know,
so
we,
that's why
but,
we have to
but
go
we need to
through-
bill, that's what I mean. To me, the bill needs to go to the fire department, and the fire department needs to pass the bill on to the homeowner of the fire, and then they need to request it due to safety concerns of being on a hill, negative 40 some degrees, water, like, you know,
And
yeah.
so I sit on the ambulance ad hoc committee too for Central Price County Ambulance. We just went through this our last meeting. So we had a call, the ambulance got stuck, had to call workers in a sand truck to come out, pull the ambulance out.
Oh, I think I heard about this.
And so whoever called for the service, and the city was at that meeting also, and they said, yeah, whoever calls for the service should be the one getting the bill, or be handling the bill, should be handling the bill. So what the ambulance service did in that case was, now the directors of the ambulance service, which are part-time, just like fire and everything else, they actually billed the homeowner. We paid the bill for workers to come pull us, and they billed the homeowner for that, because they're required to, per their driveway permits and everything else, is have to have access for emergency vehicles. So that's the way I think it, what Nick is saying, I think that's the way it should be. And how we handle non-payment is a whole different topic, I think.
Yeah.
I think you need to
Yeah.
split this into two things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even put a policy for non-payment. I would work, if there is a non-payment, we'll work through it, because like the incentive, right? Well, insurance company's going to see this and go, cool, we just won't pay that portion. They're not going to try. Yes, we're talking this way because the fire departments are so worried about all of a sudden getting all these bills that they're going to have to pay. To them, we will work and let them know, everybody,
Yeah.
we will work through a non-pay.
When this happened down in Oakmont, do we remember what happened?
And I
But
know
you're
that-
talking that case,
Yeah.
as far as, as far as what happened with the situation, or what happened with the policy,
Well, what happened?
or that lack thereof.
I assume we billed out then. Was the bill paid then or no?
There was the discussion on it, and it didn't go any farther than the discussion.
Okay.
Because there was, again,
Cause that was,
the feeling was from the EMS and the fire service is that we were trying to go after them for money, and it was everything but that. But again, in the day and age we live in, it doesn't matter if you're county, state, federal, town, whatever,
yeah.
budgets are tight.
Yep.
So if you can get the user to pay for the service, that helps everybody. And that's all we're trying to do. And that's all we were trying to do back then. It sounds like there's a little more appetite for it right now. So I think we should create a policy for it.
So what is that
Question
what
on
this
that, Joe.
committee, well, go ahead.
Question on that is, so that bill went to the fire department, did not go to the people or to the municipality, sorry, the township,
Which one are you talking?
down on I.
It never went. It was a discussion. We never actually charged anybody. We had a discussion of whether we should,
Okay.
because
I
it's,
thought Bill
because
was
it's
there.
not,
I was on the
it's
board
not
at that
your,
point in
it's
time. I
not
just don't
your
remember the
typical
outcome.
public service. There was a situation that caused the incident, just like an accident on Highway 13.
Okay, I thought Bill was actually sent to the fire department. That was my
No, and there was multiple issues down there. There was the fire, there was the cleanup on other things. So it was, that one was, it's a bad example, but a good example. Like that's where we originally had, I think in my career, we've had this conversation 3 times now.
Mm.
So first time was shove it down the throat. That was not the right way to approach it. Second time was when you were commissioner, and it was, we had some momentum, but then it got all scary. Like, what are we going to do? There got bad momentum. Here's my third time around on this same conversation. It's rare. That's the other problem. It's not
Mhm.
a everyday incident that this happens.
There's been good discussion here. I think from my point of view, the commissioner and or the committee members should come up with a policy, a written policy, bring it back to committee and tweak it if needed. Is that reasonable?
I agree. I mean, I think the services need to be billed out. You know, we got somebody out of bed in the middle of the night to go and do a job. No different than the firefighters. I know that.
not that they get paid, but they get paid for their equipment and whatnot, the services. But I think, the bill needs to be put to the department. It needs to be sent to the department, and then they need to forward it on to the homeowner and the homeowner's insurance, to work together for it. Vance?
So I was the one that took this call. I think it was like 1:30 in the morning. So it's outside of our normal working hours, which
Yeah.
are 4 a.m. till 10 p.m. I
Yep.
sat on the side of my bed saying, do I call someone in if the fire department requests?
Yeah.
Which I ended up doing, but
Yeah.
for a 50-foot stretch on a road.
Yeah. And that's tough because you got to call a guy. You're up. You got to call. Now you're up. Now you got to get another guy up that's got to get up and get in and leave home and come to work, in the middle of the night and get sand and get the truck and get out. And there's costs that need to be recouped somehow
Well, and I think
or
his-
tried to be recouped.
his point is that being that there's no specific policy in place, he
Yeah.
had to make the decision, and
Yep.
he would rather have something in writing.
Well, you always want to err on the side of caution, I mean,
Yeah.
you got to call because there was a concern for them and you did what you needed to do, So
What would be helpful today is cool, some type of motion saying, yep, let's work towards a policy. I would like to go to the fire association meeting and take some of the heat right away and just kind of talk through it and just let's figure this out. So it's not here you go, this is what we're doing, get them on the same page, because otherwise this is just going to be pounding our heads against the wall. I don't know when they meet. I'll talk. He called me the other, but I'll meet with them. I think.
Well, and I assume this services, it extends beyond the county. I mean, if a municipality, town of Worcester, town of Elk, town of Harmony, whatever, if there was a fire and they requested it, they would still have to get somebody out of bed to go do something as well. And I'm assuming that would be billed as well via
They don't, though.
municipality.
They just
I will
go.
tell you, no, it doesn't.
No?
Oh.
We just do it.
Yeah.
Jordan. So this is on our Town of Flambeau agenda for next week to discuss this very topic.
Yeah.
So it's something that is going to be going forward to have a policy. Again,
Yeah.
like Vance said, just guidance.
Yeah.
Let's do whatever way we do it, let's just have some guidance. So
Yeah.
we're following the same thing each
And
time we do it.
I would recommend the municipalities have a policy. So when they charge the insurance, they go, no, that's our
That's our-
policy.
yeah.
If we have to send out additional services, there is a cost to this municipality above and beyond our fire protection that we're already paying for. However, this is above and beyond. Our policy states we charge X dollars an hour or whatever it might be, your insurance, and then hopefully you do get that back. That's only a positive for every municipality to do this. I get the billing and the timing and whatever, but charge a 4% fee on that to make sure you pay your staff to be chasing this down. So I think there's some momentum, like you said, and so it's just getting in front of the right groups to keep it all in one lane rather than some groups over here and some over here, and we can work on that.
So if we're at that point, I would make a motion that we move forward with developing a policy for this.
I would second that.
Did you want to direct who's going to develop that policy?
Yeah. Okay.
I would say between the administrator and the department head to develop a policy to bring forward to the
Yeah.
board for consideration.
Okay, well, I got a motion to develop a policy for the requested assistance billing. By Joe and Paul, a second by Paula. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Department reports. Roger?
Yeah, so the LSS IP it's the local small structure improvement program. That is out. I did talk to Ed Haney. He was okay for me, with me filling out the application. I did fill out the application for him and submitted it. What I know as far as projects that are gonna be funded, is pretty much everything 2 and under. Bennett Road is at a 3. Don't know if it's gonna get funding. Reimbursement on this, they're talking it's potentially 90-10 split, but they would not say if it's gonna be less. They just, a lot of questions weren't answered in the meeting, but I also worked with, I think the Town of Hill has one, a bigger structure. So right now I'm just gonna concentrate on the bigger structures. The culverts, cause you're gonna have some engineering involved on some of these smaller culverts that have to get changed out, cause even like a couple of 4-footers fall in this qualification. And then if it's 12,000 to replace them, and then you're spending 25,000 on engineering, are you better off just doing the 50-50 culvert share? So that's what I've been telling most of the municipalities, the townships that do have. It's got to be a bigger structure before I think you should consider, because once you get engineering firm involved and they start designing and get the DNR involved, all of a sudden it might get very big and might get very expensive. And once you're locked in on your dollar amount, you're locked in on your dollar amount. So sometimes it's just easier to replace in kind with your own staff working with the DNR. So other than that, so I did tell you that the flap grant, we did not get me and Jenny worked really hard on the build grant for that. We did get that submitted. We might find something in June. Otherwise, like I said, J might have to get put on the back burner if we don't get anything, and D will be next year's build instead, because it is falling apart really fast too as well.
Everything out there for Emery,
Well, yeah. So
crickets.
Smiles.
weight limits are going on this Thursday. So if anybody's getting calls or anybody's thinking about it, with the rain, it's the rain that was coming on Friday is what they're predicting. On Friday was a big push ahead, and the 50-degree. I know it's maybe showing a little cool down next week, but when people call, people want to know 2 weeks ahead of time, but it's hard to get a good forecast 10 days out, whether or not. When I looked at it this morning, it was different than what it was yesterday. Yes.
I think it's a good call, Roger.
Yeah.
I was Price Lakes Road yesterday. We got a logging project down there, and there's 3 or 4 spots that are already sinking 3-4 inches. So I think it was a really good call. So, kudos.
I mean, we do have a lot of frost yet, but but you hear the mills are full. So,
But I did want to say that, the notice that was put out prior to the posting was a good notice. I mean, I even copied it and pasted it, sent it out to all my Facebook people, which is my district, and others. But it was just nice, the explanation of why roads get posted. And I thought it was well done. And I told Jen that too. So, kudos.
She looked last night before we left, and it had 11,000 views already. So it does.
Yeah.
It does get around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, airport.
Airport. So Mike's been just doing general maintenance. The card reader was out for getting fuel. That should be all good to go now. We had a lot of issues with phone lines and new readers and everything else like that. But that's supposed to be, talking to Mike yesterday, everything should be good to go now. He had the AWAS was out for a little bit. He got that back up and going. I do have some good news on the loader. When I talked to Dan at Fabicat on Monday, he got an email from Lucas Ward that it got approved through the BOA, and now it's in the 10-day comment period. So as long as nothing comes up, which I highly doubted in the comment period, we should see it after the 10 days. So hopefully potentially next week. So the total price of that machine with with all the attachments, so we got a broom, a blower, a bucket, and a push blade with it. The total price was $433,950. Mike did reach out to Lucas Ward to just confirm what our percentage is, which he did not get back to Mike at all. I texted Carl this morning and he thought it should be because it was in the 25-26 grant. We should only be on the hook for 2.5%, which is $10,848.75. If it is 50% or 5%, it would be $21,697.50.
I recall that one being a 2.5
Okay.
because I think it was like 9 or 8 when we originally did it. So it's gone up slightly, but it was in that 10 or less.
And don't let them fool you at Fabic. Ours isn't the only piece of machinery sitting there. I went to Green Bay 2 weeks ago for my kids' basketball tournament, and there's about another 250 machines sitting there besides just ours. Oh my God.
Right. Well, they've been sitting on these machines since October. So
So
there's 4 airports involved in this.
my only question is, these numbers we're getting after the machine has already been made and basically received by Fabric. Shouldn't all those numbers be in place before you even sign the dotted line? And I'm not trying
Yeah,
to blame
there was
you
a
for
bid.
anything. I'm just trying to understand how this process went.
So this is the bid amount number, but I just thought I'd share this number with.
Okay.
Yeah,
With-
this was the original bid.
Okay, so you did know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
This started 4 years ago.
Yeah, but it wasn't, the machine wasn't bid out. I think it was last year at some point, early spring or something, the machine was bid out. But it was just a long process. And then with the government shut down, the BOA was supposedly working, but then some left, and I don't know. It's finally coming. It's finally coming. So, which is good to hear. And then on the T hangar and the taxi lane. So the taxi lane, the bid was accepted from Hutari Construction for the taxi lane at a total price of $199,868.15, which was 6% under the estimate. The T hangers,
From Hatari?
I asked the same question
For the-
for the taxi lane, building the taxi lane. So I don't know. I asked Brett, I'm like, I didn't know Hutari did dirt work. And
Yeah.
Brett said neither did I. But
Oh.
so I'm assuming that he was also bidding on the T hanger, so he just wanted all the work together. But so the T hanger is on hold right now because of DSPS has a concern about the 6-inch step getting through the bifold T hanger doors.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So they did ask for a variance on that, which DSPS said no. So now it's kind of they're still fighting it over. So there might be a little change as far as they're just waiting because even the BOA is involved. So if there is a little change order on it, they might have to send the change order out before they they would have to resubmit a bid on it with the change order.
I'm just curious, Park Falls just built the hangars. Did they have to deal with it? How did they get
I have
their
no
hangars
idea.
built?
I don't know.
You probably don't know the answer, but I'm just,
Yeah.
it's the same.
And-
money,
and
Are
same
there
grant money.
are there doors in the hangar though? Are there doors in
Being a
in the
row,
door?
I'm sure the middle one, you gotta go through the door. I don't know. I haven't been up there.
Because the issue here is the door accessing
I
the,
know.
is
I
in
know.
the door, right?
Correct.
That's the issue.
So it's so on the end hangers, there's side doors to get in there, but it's on the ones in the middle where you can't get a side door access. So, my thing is if you can't get in through the door, how you're gonna get in the airplane?
Exactly.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah. Okay.
It's just a question, right?
Yep.
But-
Yep.
It's like when you have 350s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Dams.
Dams,
They're wet.
they're wet and a little bit frozen. General status overall, they're pretty good. Jobs is inspection report pointed out that there's concerns on some concrete deterioration, pitting and metal on surfaces on the radial arm gates and pins. There's also cracks and some welds in the struts on one gate. The DNR directive is on the inspection report to repair those weld cracks in the struts of the gate. So at some point, I don't know if that's above our capabilities or not, but I guess once summer comes, we'll take an assessment and see how that goes. Weimer's Dam, is operating at water pool level, at Sioux Lake, a temporary 8 inches below the summer pool level. The Prentice Dam, inspection directives from the DNRs to hire a surveyor to put on a staff gauge elevation, and that was all complete. Sailor Creek Dam is good. Dave will be ordering a new chain hoist to replace that out this year. Musser flowage is drawn down 60 inches for aquatic invasive species weed kill, which doesn't sound like it's going very well because it didn't freeze as hard as what they were hoping. Solberg Dam, he's
Are
been
we
monitoring.
concerned that, is he concerned with refilling that with the lack of runoff?
Did not ask.
I'm just curious.
Well, the Lake Association is involved in this with also Nicole Hayes from the DNR. So it was set up with the Lake Association, the
Okay.
DNR and
Sure.
everything. So I guess it's a chance you take.
Yeah.
When you do something like this. So Solberg Dam, there he's just monitoring some concrete deterioration, some minor patching and concrete repairs will be done this summer. That's all I have on dams.
Okay. Highway crew?
Since the last meeting, we've been out 9 times for winter maintenance. We did haul 2,600 tons of sand for making salt sand. And actually in the last couple days, we've had 2 townships come and get some, probably about 100 tons. We pushed back all the banks on state and county highways, dug snow out of our problem areas for spring thaw. We've been steaming some frozen culverts already and opening storm drains, bridge drains. Patched all county highways. Patching, like Roger said, started on 70 on Monday. We can get a mile done a day. So that's about 10 days of patching. And depending on if it sticks, we might be starting over. But hopefully it stays. It's so far it's going good. It's a little rough because they're large areas to patch. And we do have a roller out there. Cut dead trees on Highway 8. That's always ongoing. Limbing storm damaged trees, clean up on all highways.
Just a question. Are you using UPM out there or are you using some other patch material?
Right now we're using Wood County patch, winter patch from Wood County.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks.
Anything else? No? Fleet and facilities.
So we ordered a new Foreman truck, a 1-ton pickup truck. The build date on that is supposed to be in April 14th. The old Foreman truck will get moved down to the crew. 2 ceiling tube heaters in the rock shop. They've been ordered, buildings and grounds, so we'll be assembling and installing them at some point. We did get them in. We've started on the electrical, basically repairs and update, and throughout the facilities in the rock shop, there were some outlets that were pretty much rotting away and conduit that was not that anybody, ripped and torn on it, but conduit was pulling apart and just some electrical upgrades here and there. So now and even the conduit between buildings was pulled apart by the salt shed. And other than that, the guys have just been doing their general repairs on the trucks. We've been actually had all in all a good year on keeping equipment going and keeping it up and out the door. I did send out a request to the DOT because our salt shed at the highway shop there is the inspection report came back in poor condition. So I did put in a request for a new salt shed at the highway shop location. Not sure if I'll hear back or when that could possibly get
2070.
replaced. Yeah, 2070. But you got to put your name on the list if you want to get something.
Yep.
So even if it's a bunch of years out, at least
Yeah.
potentially we could get something. And so that would be financed by the state. And if in my build design was just kind of a little better lean-to than what's there, that we could actually fit some loaders in and actually And that was the other part of the electrical upgrade, was putting in more outlets to plug equipment in, because otherwise it just kept on popping breakers and everything in the cold storage building.
Yep.
I do have, I don't know, Nick, so like that loader, I couldn't get the BOA to buy forks for it. I did get a quote on forks for, they're just under $10,000. I don't know if that's a possibility. Yeah.
You don't have forks already for the other loaders at the highway?
So we do, like I said, in my long scheme is to have a set of forks in each location. But it'd just be all around for our department and the airport department. It would be super handy.
We use them here building grounds too. I mean,
Yeah. It just always seems like when a loader's here, the forks are there. And then, yeah,
Usually how that goes.
yeah.
Back to dams, was he getting a truck soon, or I thought we discussed that or talked about he was getting up
that's-
there miles, or no?
Yeah, at some point, I mean, it should be discussed on how
Sure,
we're gonna
okay.
handle that. I mean, whether or not the highway department buys it and then the dam gets a new one or something. I mean, we
Sure.
could-
Okay. I just thought I remember that at some point in time. So,
yeah.
okay. Okay. Thanks for the updates. Vouchers.
Make a
All seen
motion
'em?
to approve.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Paul and a second by Doug to approve the vouchers. Any other questions or discussions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried or opposed? Motion carried. Next meeting is April 1st tentatively. We are adjourned.
Hey, nice job.
I'm a little less chatty than Larry.